showed me a photograph.
What was the photograph of Mr. Depp?
Shit.
Mr. Depp was trying to urinate in the foyer, wasn't he?
No.
Mr. Depp had his penis out of his pants.
Objection.
I think I would remember
Relevance.
seeing Mr. Depp penis.
Next question.
You didn't know what could cause damage to Mr. Depp's hand while you were there on March 8th, correct?
Dr. Kipper told me he'd sustained an injury on one of his fingers.
Objection, hearsay.
Wait, you asked the question.
Oh. Okay, he said he sustained an injury to his finger.
Now, you're a lot bigger than Amber, correct? Physically?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I'm so pathetic when it comes to knowing what movies I've done. I'm sorry. I don't watch them. I feel better not watching them. I couldn't. What was the question again?
Order in the court, or I will have you removed. Understood?
As a result of applying those protocols, what did you conclude?
Ms. Heard did not have PTSD, and there were also pretty significant indications that she was grossly exaggerating symptoms of PTSD when asked about them.
You also heard them say that all kinds of people saw Amber that week, and she didn't have any bruises on her face. This is what Amber carried in her purse for the entire relationship with Johnny Depp. She's an actor. Do you honestly think she would have left her apartment ever without makeup? Do you think that she ever would have wanted other people to see her bruises and her cuts? This was what she used.
Lying will ruin your life. Lying will ruin your goddamn life.
Paul Bettany's a good friend that you've done drugs with, right? With respect, sir, that wasn't my question.
No wind. Of course there's no bloody wind.
You were asked a question.
You forgot one very important thing, mate. I'm Captain Jack Sparrow.
Case is dismissed. We're done.
You actually walked into the middle of the argument.
Yes.
I was screaming. Security walks in and they don't do anything about it.
Isn't it true that while he was on the mezzanine level and Miss Heard and her sister were there, that he was reaching for Amber's hair while he was trying to hit her with that cast?
Johnny was hitting me, and he was hitting me hard and repeatedly.
Correct?
That is not correct.
You say that you can't say for sure where Whitney was standing on the mezzanine level during this altercation, correct?
That is correct.
It's possible that she was standing in between Mr. Depp and Miss Heard.
And all we had was a little bit of separation, and my sister runs down the stairs.
Correct?
No.
Well, you say you can't say for sure where she was standing. So she could have been standing in between Mr. Depp and Miss Heard, right?
He was about to push my sister down the stairs. She was attempting to break us up.
No, because I stepped in between Miss Heard and Mr. Depp, so she definitely wasn't standing in between them.
I saw her standing on top of a flight of stairs and trying to interrupt a fight in between him and I.
Well, in fact, you saw Mr. Depp push or shove Whitney Heard.
When he laid hands on her, I don't know what I did, but I know I jumped in between the actions that I saw could lead to a fatal injury to my sister.
Correct?
Absolutely not.
And it was only after Mr. Depp pushed Whitney that Amber stepped forward and punched him in the face.
I don't know what part of my body I put in between me and him and her, but I would have done anything. I would have done anything to prevent her from being pushed down a flight of stairs.
Isn't that right?
That is not correct.
Now, moving on to April 2016.
It's a pretty simple yes or no question, which is
You'd like it to be, sir. Nothing simple in this case. October is 2 months before December. That's correct.
The document that you signed as part of your divorce proceedings, correct?
That's my signature indeed, yeah.
That is your signature on the right, correct?
Yes, it is.
This is the document you signed, right?
For the third time, that is my signature, yes.
And that was a document you signed in August of 2016, correct?
Is that the same one that I signed 3 times before? Yes, that's the
Well, I wanted to make clear that you signed that in the summer after you cut your finger off, that you, or right after, I won't give you anything to argue with me yet. Right after you sustained an injury to your finger, that you, right after you sustained an injury to your finger,
Bless you.
poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint?
Yeah. Fast forward in time a little bit, Mr. Depp.
Yes, I can feel it.
And actually were all kinds of accusations flying your way when you said all this, and then there was a divorce settlement. You got $7 million. People were saying this is all about the money, but then you did something that twisted that whole argument. What did you do with that money?
$7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
More power to you, because that's something that I've never heard of.
I wanted nothing.
Well, Emma, are you happy?
Yes.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never.
It was a very ugly situation with Amber. So
Mr. Depp, with respect, trying to respect the court's time and the jury's time, that was not my question. My question was simply,
when
you
you
would
take
agree,
5 minutes to look for a
you would agree,
document.
you would agree that on. Let's pull up Exhibit 500, please. 500? 500. Defense Exhibit 500.
I'd like to see who I lied to.
Sometimes drink whiskey in the mornings, too, right?
Isn't happy hour any time?
Can't say that you carried cocaine in that box?
No, but it looks like it would fit some cocaine.
I didn't realize at the time, but I think he was using cocaine because it was like there was a jar of cocaine out on the table. I realize that sounds weird, but it was like an actual vintage jar of it.
I got a jar of dirt, I got a jar of dirt, and guess what's inside it?
Did I read that right?
You did.
Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Okay. Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Did I read that right?
You continue to read them right, yes.
And
it's, you know, just, yeah, you kiss someone on the side of the cheek. I don't know, pressure-wise, what kind of talk is there?
I mean, is it just one of these little pecks, or is it much harder?
No, it's a regular. You touch, you know, you touch and boom, and that's that.
So you think it was pretty hard? You peck her on the cheek pretty hard every time?
Injection around her.
I mean, is it just one of these little pecks, or is it much harder?
Rocky's boyfriend, who was some sort of chef, he asked her what she would like for him to cook. That's hearsay, I guess.
Go ahead. I know if it's sure it's offered for the truth of the matter asserted.
He got it.
Okay, all right, well then.
I'm learning.
Miss Heard didn't like it when you were high on drugs or drunk on alcohol, right?
She didn't like it when it was her perception. Her perception's quite different than the truth.
With Marilyn Manson?
I once gave Marilyn Manson a pill so that he would stop talking so much. Sorry.
All right. You poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint.
Yeah.
I poured myself a large glass of wine.
Right.
I thought it necessary.
It's alpaca day.
And they thought about someone trying to break into their unit. That was the dog trying to get into the unit. And they were so afraid. Oh, someone's trying to get into my unit. They're like, oh, come on, really?
I'm getting all these text messages from him calling me all these names, and it barely coherent, barely. And I'm holding his daughter crying.
Do you recall these?
Yes, I do.
And are these the text messages?
Yes, that's what he was sending me while I was taking care of his daughter.
And would you distinguish between donate and pledge given the reference to the next 10 years?
About Elon Musk's intention?
I would read this to mean that it isn't clear whether this is a
Mr. Depp, if Disney came to you with $300 million and 1 million alpacas, nothing on this earth would get you to go back and work with Disney on a Pirates of the Caribbean film. Correct?
That is true, Mr. Roddenborn.
You don't recall seeing Amber Heard on May 24th, correct?
I don't remember. I don't even remember what I got for breakfast.